compensation. Bridge. A good ride on the arterial, 4455, going through Poughkeepsie. Looking good out towards LaGrange, a little traffic, 55 eastbound by Titusville Road. No problems getting onto the Taconic State Parkway. It's a good ride southbound Taconic from LaGrange through Fishkill. No problems 84 eastbound from Fishkill to Brewster. This report is sponsored by Mothers.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed, support causes that matter, change lives, change communities, change the world. Visit lionsclubs.org to learn more.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the Y. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
Don't. Just don't. If you see a low-hanging or downed wire, don't touch it. Don't move it. Don't go near it. Don't drive over it. It may be a power line carrying an electric current strong enough to kill. But here's what to do. Stay at least 30 feet away and call 911. Central Hudson will take care of the problem. If you come close to a wire, shuffle away with small steps and watch your step. Wires may be hidden in fallen tree limbs or near water. Your safety matters.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
I see that. What happened?
Good morning, Ulster County.
Good morning. How are you guys today?
Oh, I'm great.
You good, Heidi?
Yeah, it's Friday.
It's Friday.
Yeah.
How was your week?
Quick.
Was it quick?
Yeah, it went very, very, very quick.
Wow.
But I have to say, are you going to keep that on?
What?
Maybe I should take this one off because you can't hear. No, you leave yours on.
I leave mine on. You take yours off.
I usually bring the thinner one.
Okay. No, I'm fine with it.
I think I'm supposed to keep this on, so I better put it back on.
That's fine. Whatever you want to do. Whatever makes you happy.
Okay, so did you notice the moon?
I did.
My goodness, it was beautiful.
It was amazing. And, you know, it's only indicative of what we need to have happen in the world right now. Nice things.
Yeah, all nice things.
But,
yeah, last night I left work and it wasn't even dark out yet, and that moon was rising.
Yeah.
And, you know, I took, this crappy cell phone pic like everybody does. But I was in traffic. I was at a light, so it was over the Valero gas station.
Uh-huh.
So my shot was called The Moon Over Valero. And, of course, the photo did not do it justice. No. And then it was beautiful to get up this morning, and it was, bright out.
It's interesting. I was a little late, I was 2 minutes late, but nonetheless, here we are. It was cold. I mean, cold is not the word.
Tiny bit.
Man, it's funny because the weather is such a big difference. Just 1,100 feet higher. And We were at -2. Wind was about 16 miles an hour, which brought it down to about -13. But I had to cut wood this morning because I did.
Outside?
No, inside. I have a great little gizmo. It's an electric 5-ton log splitter, and it's all I need.
In the house?
It's in my little woodshed we made.
Oh, okay, cute.
And I have the pieces that we have are too large for the fireplaces, because I use twigs compared to you.
I rolled a few logs on mine.
Did you really?
Yeah.
No, so, I did that, so that's how it worked out. But the house was, 77 degrees this morning. And,
It was definitely hard to leave the house this morning.
Yeah.
But exciting to get here.
Yeah. So a lot going on, huh?
A lot, but, it's a lot of the same.
Well, it is. And, you look at the situation we have with the COVID vaccine, and we just have to hope that straightens itself out. A lot of people still having a lot of problems getting on and getting their appointments. And, it's just wild. I have a cousin that lives in Massachusetts, and he's 75. His wife is 73, Barbara. And they haven't lowered the age there, so he can get it and she can't. So it's still a little difficult, but it allows people the freedom, a little bit, which is really, really important. So let's hope they straighten that out.
I think the quote for this week is, eligibility does not necessarily mean availability.
Correct.
And we all have to continue to exercise patience. Yep. County Executive Pat Ryan is optimistic that we're going to be increasing our vaccination supply.
I saw that here in the paper.
That will be very, very helpful. And, it's, we're getting there.
It is. And you have to have patience. You go online, you try to get your appointments and do the best you can and have patience. Yeah. Patience is the virtue.
And stay healthy while waiting.
Yeah, it's really an interesting dynamic. Thank God Terry and I have been healthy, and I'm sure you and Wayne and the kids, knock wood. But more and more you do hear people that I know now. The colonel called me yesterday, and his wife is down. She's getting the treatment that basically Trump had, where they help you with the antibody. It's an antibody situation. So that's happening today. So she should be out of the hospital tomorrow. So it's a 36 to 48 hour treatment.
Yeah, I don't think that, if there's anyone out there that doesn't know someone or of someone who's either contracted it or in the unfortunate circumstance passed away from it.
Yeah.
You're either very blessed or perhaps in denial. I'm not quite sure which.
Yeah, no. Denial's a hard place to live.
Yeah.
Egypt is tough.
Yeah.
But
that's been at the forefront of this week. Vaccinations, clearly.
It is. I think so anyway.
That's the list. And then we have, still people dealing with Department of Labor.
That's an interesting problem. It really is. Businesses today really are struggling. More and more you look around and you see how these guys doing it. And I was blessed. Talk about, fortuitous. I saw, skate time just a year before this all went down, but some people really are struggling. And more, a lot of the wealth really goes away fast when something like this happens. And, they're working on a $3 trillion, bailout here at the federal government side, and it's going to be an interesting problem. How do we afford it? We have to try to afford it. Schumer, I guess, said it's the best. Is like, it's happening now. We got to deal with it now. So let's hope these guys can come together and get this thing done.
Yeah, look at this headline.
What's that?
Contradicting Cuomo.
Wow, that's a different problem altogether.
Attorney General says state sharply undercounted nursing home deaths.
Yeah, it's interesting because now the answer is, and again, I'm not defending any one side or the other side. You have the minority leader Ort coming out and saying that the
Zucker.
huh?
Zucker.
Yeah, should resign. You have Zucker saying, well, those numbers were in the hospital deaths. It's it's a numbers game. So Cuomo's been taking a hit on number of nursing home deaths. They've had investigations. They've had tried to figure this out, and the fact of the matter is, people died.
Yeah, those aren't just numbers; those are lives.
Those are lives. So I have to say that you only could wish and hope that we're getting the truth. And obviously, you have a Democrat in the AG and you have a Democrat in the governor, competing with data right now. So it's more of the stuff we don't need.
76-page report found an undercount of more than 50%, backing up the findings of an Associated Press investigation that focused on the fact that New York counts only residents who died from COVID on nursing home property and not those who later died in hospitals.
Right, that's what I was suggesting. So it's, it becomes, how do you hire an accountant? Heidi, you interview you three of them. You ask the first guy, what's 1 and 1? He tells you 2. And then you interview the second guy, and he asks him what 1 and 1 is, and he says 2. And then you interview the third accountant, and you ask him what 1 and 1 is. He says, what do you want it to be? And that's where we are with this, But this is what we don't need. We need transparency. We need openness, and I think that's what's we talk about unite. It's going to unite people. It's got the confidence back in government. And if we don't get it, we're doomed. And I say doomed in yeah, it's just like we just need to have confidence in our elected officials all the time.
I get it.
I do. I feel that way. It's a little rough around the edges right now. You look at this, the pipeline situation, years ago, right here in Kingston, we don't want the train to come through, right? So
The bomb train,
right? There was the bomb train.
Not to be confused with Catskill Mountain Railroad.
Not to be confused with Catskill Mountain Railroad. So, the pipeline seemed to be a good alternative. Now it's not. Now it's okay, I guess, to have a train come through Kingston. Who knows? But it's that kind of switch or hypocrisy or whatever you want to call it that really makes times difficult to look at and to understand. So, it's gonna work itself out. We've gone through these kinds of difficulties before, different kind of difficulties, but it seems that we make it through it. So, I don't know.
Apparently, you can't make a social media post now without it becoming political.
Well, no, I'm sticking to skating.
Oh, yeah, you're doing good.
I'm doing good, right?
Last week I pulled up at Stewart's and I was saying good morning to someone that I knew at the pump next to me, and I inserted my credit card into the receipt spot, like all the way up the receipt spot. And I was like, this feels weird. And when I looked and realized, oh my gosh, I just inserted my credit card in the receipt spot.
That wasn't good, Heidi.
That was not a good moment. That's totally a Heidi moment.
Did you get it out?
Yeah, I had to
good.
chew a piece of bubble gum and
You MacGyvered it out.
And then they were like, we might have to call weights and measures from Ulster County. And I was like, oh my gosh, don't do that.
No, I think they would have just had to open the machine up and grab it or something. I don't know.
Nonetheless, I had to venture back yesterday to refill, but I did get a new car.
Oh yeah, so tell me about it.
I got a commuter car, nice little commuter car. I'm very grateful.
What is it?
I commute now.
What is it?
It's a Volkswagen Tiguan.
A whom?
Tiguan.
Tiguan.
Yeah, you want to know what it means?
What does it mean?
Tiger and an iguana. So close. I don't know.
Tiguan.
Want to know what? It's the best car for me.
You like
Volkswagens. I couldn't get away from the VW. I mean, Wayne pushed for the Dodge, but
Did he really?
Of course, Mopar. But anyway, so I pull up yesterday, prepared, to not put my credit card into the receipt part.
That was a smart move.
And so I'm all ready, and I get out, and it was cold yesterday too.
Yeah.
I put my coat on, and I can't figure out how to get the gas tank open.
Oh.
And I'm looking for a button. Now people are coming up and trying to fill up. I'm
right.
in the spot, so now I'm feeling pressure. And I had to get the owner's manual out of the glove box. But I mean, this is not a fancy vehicle. I've owned Volkswagens before. Apparently, you have to have the doors unlocked to be able to get the gas.
How about that?
So, yeah, so I'm like, oh, just 1 minute, page 84. I looked up gas. It said, look up refueling. I'm like, oh, my gosh. So I refueled. And then,
Now, do you have a cap or is it capless?
You push you got to get
you
the flap
open the
open,
door.
and then it's a cap.
There's a cap.
Yeah,
I tell you, one thing I like about my truck is this capless. Weird, huh? Yeah, it's great. I have to tell you, I never have to remember to put it back on. It's
I can't tell you how many people were watching me in the parking lot.
Were they really?
Yeah, it was.
Well, it's a pretty little car.
It's nice. Yeah, it's a nice little ride. So,
Good.
So then I post a picture of, the gas pump.
Right.
I should have cut off the prices.
I know.
Because then it was just my post turns into a
that's-
dumpster fire of political posts.
Yeah,
I don't political comments.
Listen, we knew, with all the respect to what's going on, and
I never even looked at the price of the gas. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, it does matter. Trust me, it matters very much. But at this moment, I just need to fill up and go.
Right.
I can't,
get it. These are the kinds of things that they're the unintended consequences, and this is one of them. We're going to have higher fuel prices. When you have initiatives that are saying, we have to go, the biggest joke, I hate to, even bring this up because I don't want to get political about it specifically, but when you have all these unions that supported Biden, that were on the pipeline, that now he turned their back on, for him to say, well, you can get, jobs in the solar industry. It's like, what does that mean? It's really, crazy comments. That's ugly as sin.
Looks like such a scar on her.
Listen, I said town of Rochester had the problem with you never, from an economic perspective, you never give up one resource to try to use it for another resource. In town of Rochester, it was the sandbank. So now they have to buy sand. There, you're giving up, farmland. Sure. And, it's those kinds of things that have, again, and it looks bad. I mean, the eyesores.
I mean, I do drive by and see, some workers, putting it together, but it's usually about 5 people.
Yeah, it's not big.
I mean, I'm really, really, really trying to.
Listen, it's all going to change. Things.
I just wonder, like 20 years from now, are my kids, my kids are going to be closer to my own age, and are
right.
They're going to be like, oh my gosh, that was just such a thing of the past. I mean, I don't know enough, to argue that point. But
it's not even an argument. It's
I just think aesthetically, it was so shocking for me to see it.
It's funny. I used to do a lot of motorcycle riding when I was younger, and we did a lot of. Baja trips, obviously from Ensenada down to the Baja Peninsula, and that was one race. Then we did from Palm Springs to Las Vegas, right through Death Valley, and I'm talking years ago. So
I thought it was last year.
I wish. It was in my 30s, I guess, and
2 years ago.
Yeah, and the amount of wind farms. Right, in between, going through Palm Springs, it's phenomenal. It's like craziness. But they exist, they work, they generate power. They're ugly as sin, but they are what they are. And it's something you get used to, I guess, over time. And
it
it's
could just be I need to get used to this also.
Yep.
The other properties that I feel bad for are local solar farms who properties go behind somebody else's property. So now where they did have a nice view shed, they look out and see.
Well, that happened to Mike Malarchuk, right, in the town of Rochester. He backs right up to the sand thing, mine. So it's like now he's got this huge fence. It's ugly. It's terrible. And he's afraid for his children. I mean,
the people who own that land, that's their property to do with what's.
Well, it was town land, which was worse.
Yeah. I don't know. So in any case,
it's difficult.
Yeah, definitely difficult.
So.
Definitely difficult. So yeah, my car yells at me.
Does it yell at you?
Yeah, it does weird stuff.
What does it do?
Like it pulls the wheel if I go off the road.
It does that. Yeah, I got that too.
And then it flashes this thing that, like, it flashes so quick.
Does it give
I
you?
can never read it, but it says something like, please stay in the road, stay in the lane.
Yeah. Do you have a heads-up display on your windshield?
No, I don't have. It's on the dash.
It's on the dash. Yeah. Terry's is on the windshield. It's really. It took a little time to get used to.
Yeah.
Mine is not in the thing either, but
No, but
it does exist.
driving that Jeep for those couple weeks.
Did
with a soft
you
top.
get rid of the Jeep?
Come on.
No, so you have another.
Get rid of anything. He'll blame it on me.
God.
But it's really not me.
Thank God Frank took his car.
Thank God, because that's where we parked the Jeep. So, yeah, no, of course, the kids never want to get rid of anything either.
All right.
They might drive it. So, a house of many couches and cars. I don't know what to say.
Oh.
This is my commuter car. It's good. It's quiet. I got Bluetooth. I have power windows.
You have
You're
Bluetooth.
talking to the girl who was driving a stick shift with a Jeep.
Whoa. You were driving a hot rod.
Yeah, that's the summer.
A summer car.
Summer car. Yeah, because that's when I'm never going to be late to work.
You'll never be late to work in that
It's so
thing.
funny because I did buy it from Volkswagen of Kingston. They were wonderful.
Oh, good.
I have to say. They really
Good.
were. They were knowledgeable, friendly,
Good.
no pressure. But they were like, so, they're standing there. Wayne said, "So, what did you like it? Did it, have a little, get up and go?" It's like 140 horsepower. So I was like, that's a silly question, Wayne. I mean, did it move? Yes, it moved. So the guy says, well, what do you normally drive? And then we tell him, he's like, oh my God, that's like 500 horsepower. You're like, how do you compare?
It's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a big difference.
Yeah, it's all right. You don't need to go fast.
I don't know. Like, I can't wait to get that car out on the open highway again.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah, I mean, am I going to take on the cops with the Volkswagen? No, probably not.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
I like it. Like I said, I had roll-down windows, standard transmission, a soft top, oversized tires. I was driving down there like, I can't tell you how much gas I was burning through.
Really?
Yeah. This is nice.
Oh, Jesus.
All kinds of cameras, which that's helpful.
All right.
This time, if we want to see from the top, the side.
Yeah, I get that's nice.
Yeah.
It's interesting because now all cars come with backup camera. Yeah, it's law.
Didn't have backup camera.
Huh?
I had to tune in the radio.
Tuning the radio, really?
Oh yeah, I'm not kidding. That was a very basic stock model.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's great.
It's
You
purple.
have to roll down the window. No, it's not purple.
Oh, what color is that one?
White.
You have a purple one too.
Yes, I do. That one.
You have two purple ones.
No, the one is a golf cart.
Oh.
I don't drive the golf cart down the thruway. Although, yeah, no. I don't drive the golf
Well,
cart down the thruway.
let's just say that there's you have a lot of cars.
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple Freihoffer trucks. I mean, Stop.
Oh,
That's why he's building a garage. Yeah, but so my week has been quite lovely commuting.
really?
Yeah, with that ride. Yeah, I can actually like take a drink, take a phone call, like do like normal things you would do in your car.
You're not supposed to do that.
Yes, you are.
No,
That's why
you're
they
not.
have cup holders and Bluetooth.
No. So, well, listen, I have to tell you that cars today, I mean, really are just so equipped. It's unbelievable. So, anyway, what number do the people calling on?
So this is a call-in show, and since Glenn and I do not have a guest, and you probably would, get a little tired of hearing us, you can reach us at 331-9255. So call us. It's Friday. We're trying to keep it light, but, I answer calls from 400,000 people all day long. So
Yeah.
if you'd like to call in with something that might not be so light, we're
What
ready.
are when people do call? What are the big like? Mike, I'm going to be calling you pretty soon because I'm one of your constituents now.
God help me.
I need help, Heidi. I'm old. I'm feeble.
You are feeble.
But
Oh, we have a
We have a
caller.
caller.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning. We are experiencing the greatest abuse of the American people by government leaders. The arrogance and servants of Governor Cuomo, the dictatorial rulings over 40 executive orders of President Biden, and their impact on the working Americans, and the rising costs of energy and future food and taxes under the disguise of climate change needs. Yet the government leaders and media allies neglect to inform we the people as to how many of these leaders are driving electric cars, have solar panels on all of their homes, and wind power structures in their neighborhoods, giving up their private planes and fossil-powered yachts. If we the people are to sacrifice, we need to demand a public exposure of how the government leaders are personally being examples and leaders in setting and imposing the climate change laws and regulations on us.
You've made a couple of very valid points, and that's what I was speaking about earlier, is the hypocrisy of what's going on. And, it's a really fine line because, there are some people want to hear the climate changes is being addressed, or, this issue is being addressed. The fact of the matter is what impact does it have on the day-to-day cost? I have to tell you, I completely agree with you. When I go to the market now, I am shocked at prices. I barely fill 2 bags. That's $80. It's insane. But these are the effects that obviously all these initiatives have. Delivery costs. It's much of all the same. I don't know how many years ago, when I used to get a delivery, I used to have a delivery surcharge for fuel.
Like 2007, when fuel started creeping up to
right. And it's gonna happen again. And who pays? We do.
Yeah.
But thank you, caller. And I tend to agree with where you are. We need to get a better grasp on how we look at things and how we manage things.
And we have to expose how the leaders say, well, we are above all of these rules and regulations, but you, the deplorables, as they call us, are the ones, well, you're just going to have to make the sacrifices, pay the price, and destroy the homes, the families, the ability to work, communities and all, by a lot of these things that they say, well, we'll give these edicts out without really considering and, researching what will be the impact on the American people. I don't see any of this doing, and I certainly don't see their leadership of they're giving the example. So we the people better wake up, and we better start demanding better behavior and better ruling in terms of laws and regulations that they're imposing on us. Give it to them first. Make them have to follow them, and then say that, okay, the American people, you'll have to join in.
It's
good work.
No, it's keeping the elected officials accountable is very, very important, as you know. And we went through an election season, and we'll go through many more. We just have to keep up or pray that they're good, open, honest elections. Here in New York, I feel confident that does happen. I feel confident in the New York State Board of Elections, but some states not so much. But again, we need to keep track of what's going on.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You keep up the good work and have a great, safe day.
Thank you, you too.
Well, thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about. How?
I think we got to go to a break. Yeah, 1 minute. Oh, we have 1 minute.
We have 1 minute, but this is what we're talking about. How we have to build confidence again. Just because there are initiatives out there doesn't mean, just like the bomb train we talked about, right? All of a sudden, it's not a problem, but it will be. And things that have to be understood and reversed need to be understood and reversed. So it is what it is. But
hey, did you see this little headline?
What's that?
Red Hook, town expands smoking ban to include vaping.
Yeah, that's been going on.
New rule is in effect on municipal properties. No vaping.
No, but it's been going on pretty much. Yeah, the vaping things.
I can't find the actual article though.
What's that?
Can't find the actual article.
Oh. But, yeah, you had a bugaboo last time we were on the air about smoking and something.
All right, we got to go to a break right now.
We got to go to break. We'll see you in a little bit.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
100 years ago, there were 100,000 tigers in the wild. Today, there are as few as 3,200. The Earth's wild animals can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed, support causes that matter, change lives, change communities, change the world. Visit lionsclubs.org to learn more.
This is the story of Daniel, who was born 2 months early. His lungs weren't ready. His heart wasn't ready. His parents could only hope that one day he would leave the hospital healthy, and they would all live happily ever after. Daniel's is just one of the more than 500,000 stories of babies born prematurely last year. You can help the March of Dimes stop premature birth and bring more babies home healthy. Learn how at marchofdimes.com. Working together for stronger, healthier babies.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ruth Quick from town of Ulster. I support Kingston Community Radio, and you should too.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Hey!
Good morning, Ulster County, and we're back.
Hey, Heidi, how you doing today?
It's really good.
Good.
So I hear we have a call-in guest.
We do. It's a surprise to you, isn't it?
I love surprises.
I know you do. That's why I did it.
I do. I really love surprises. So I'll let you announce.
I will. Last night I was texting with a gentleman, our good Senator Mike Martucci, and I says, why don't you just come on and join us? There's a lot going on, and he came out with an interesting initiative that I'd like to talk about this morning.
Funny, because during the commercial I said we need to talk about this.
Yes, you did.
How ironic that we have the senator on the line right
Exactly. Senator, you there?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Heidi. Good morning, Len.
Good morning.
I hope I'm a good surprise this morning and not a bad one.
No,
because I know there's two kinds of surprises.
No, it's a good surprise. It's funny. Just before.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Just before the break, Heidi was mentioning the restaurant initiatives. And if you can go into that for us, I think that'd be great. Because I watched you, I don't know how many people did, but you don't realize how many businesses are hurting.
Oh, my gosh. Well, Len, you're absolutely right. When you look at what's going on, right now over 1,000 restaurants have closed. And according to a report from the National Restaurant Association, they're saying that potentially restaurant closures could be high as 55%, especially in places like the city of New York, if restaurants don't open soon. So, I think it comes as no surprise to all of us that this industry is absolutely on its knees right now. And certainly a lot of it has to do with some really stringent rules and in particular capacity limitations and in some cases all-out closures that are happening right here in the state of New York.
It's interesting you say that. I'm going to say a couple months into the pandemic, the Wall Street Journal had a very interesting article, and they predicted that 43% of restaurants would close. So here we are at 55. We're moving toward 55. But the other issue is funny. I was watching it, and I don't know if you saw this, Senator. The Super Bowl's coming, right? So it's a late start. So all the restaurants wanted was some guidance on staying open till after the game. And yesterday,
and Len, you're 100% right. I mean, when you look at the current 10 o'clock curfew that's been placed on our restaurants, the reality here is it's not backed by 1 ounce of science.
It's not.
We've asked time and time again to provide some sort of data that's the basis for that decision. So, the fact that our restaurants are asking for an exemption for 1 day, because as you point out, this 1 day is so important to our bars and our taverns and our restaurants.
Right.
But beyond that, one of the things that I'm fighting for is this idea that if we're going to force our restaurants to close at 10 o'clock, what's the basis for doing that? And here today, we still wait to hear what that is.
Right, and yesterday he again, and I say he, the governor, Cuomo suggested that he's keeping it at 10 o'clock. No reason, no rhyme, nothing. But Senator, what kind of support have you gotten? Obviously, I'm sure your conference is behind you 100%. Have you looked across the aisle at all?
Well, look, I mean, there is bipartisan support in terms of there being an appetite to do something for our restaurants. Really, my cry right now to my partners, my colleagues in the legislature, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, is this can't wait. I mean, here we are, almost a full year into the pandemic. We don't have time to act. We should have acted months and months ago to provide real, meaningful support to our restaurants and really all of our businesses. But today we're talking about our restaurants. We have an obligation to do it. Well, actually, we had an obligation to do it months ago, I believe, but we have an obligation to do it right this minute. And so this week, we unveiled a package of bills. I can touch on a couple of them if you're interested.
No, please, absolutely.
Really make a difference for our restaurants.
Absolutely, please. Enlighten us.
So quickly, just on a couple of the measures, if I just want to touch on a few of them. One of them, one that I've sponsored and introduced legislation on, and I certainly urge my colleagues to join in supporting the bill, is a bill that helps our restaurants, I think, in a really significant way. One of the bills in our package involves providing a reduction on the very expensive liquor license process for our restaurants. I mean, they're paying 100% of the liquor licensing fees, and some restaurants are open at 50%. Some are not open for inside dining at all.
Right.
So I think it's absolutely crazy that our state charges these ridiculous fees to our restaurants at a time when they're not even allowing them to be open.
Right.
Kind of in that same vein, again, the bill that I sponsored was one that takes the fees and penalties that are wagered against our restaurants by the SLA and other state agencies. We've all heard stories of these agencies coming into restaurants and finding them because tables aren't too far apart, because people are finishing their chicken wings after 10 p.m., and on and on. This creates a fund with that money that goes right back to the beleaguered restaurant industry to allow them to continue to operate. So really what it's doing is taking these fines, and rather than having them sucked up into the gigantic vortex of state government, they go right back to the restaurant industry to help.
It's funny you say things like that, but we have a friend, actually, a person who lives in Kingston who owns the Lexus Diner, and or is part owners of the Lexus Diner in Orange County. So it's kind of a crossover. But the long and the short of it, when that whole issue came up about the 10 o'clock closing, it became a question of, well, if someone comes in at 9:30, are they allowed to finish their meal? When do we stop serving? It's like so many little things like that.
Well, again, these are laws and things that are made up by people who've never worked a day in their life in a restaurant business.
Right. Right. So, it's when we look at this in things like this, you really have to say to yourself, and like looking at the liquor licenses specifically, something I've done, and it's terrible to even openly admit this. We have a place called El Sombrero. It's right down the road. But now Terry she gets a sangria to go, and I get a mojito to go. Only because we know I could make a mojito home, and we could have sangria at home, but it's almost like we want to buy it only because you're supporting the restaurant and the liquor costs and liquor license costs. You came up with something last time we spoke, and that was the fact that, tip, just because you,
it's always,
to go.
my mother always taught me, tip on your to-go orders. So many people aren't eating in, they're taking out, and you have to make sure you tip, somebody has to prepare that food to go.
Yep.
They put, whatever, not too many ketchup packets or paper, napkins or plasticware.
Plastic straws.
No plastic straws here in Ulster County, but nonetheless, tip them as well.
Senator, let me ask you another question, if I may. I hope you don't mind. Well, actually, I have a couple, but I'll ask this one first. The Minority Leader Ord came up with, obviously having the issue with these deaths in nursing homes being a huge issue.
Of course, yes.
It's almost, and I was telling Heidi earlier, in opinion, it's like how do you hire an accountant, right? But the numbers are the numbers. Whether they died in a nursing home or they died in a hospital because they left the nursing home, where do you see the breakout and difference there? Is it a matter of just getting the information out correctly, or is it really a matter of transparency? What's your opinion of that?
Well, Len, I think, like everyone else, I'm still digesting the Attorney General's report. I think that we all, including myself, had suspicions that there might be, some issues with the integrity of the numbers as they were originally released. Certainly, the Attorney General's report is very different than the numbers that the Department of Health had released. So, I guess my short answer is I'm still sort of digesting all of this too, because I had an opportunity to read the report the same time that it was released publicly.
Cool.
As a legislature, we did not have any, kind of early look at that. But I think really here's the big piece. The big piece is, I'm certainly blessed to not have had lost anyone in my family or any of my friends to COVID. But if I did, really what I'd be looking for right now is transparency and accountability for what happened.
Yeah.
And, my heart goes out to the people who sit now without their loved ones and are really left still today with no answers. So, I'm looking forward to joining a chorus of voices, a bipartisan chorus of voices, quite frankly, that are here to say we have an obligation to give these families answers, give them answers now, and correct the deficiencies that clearly have resulted in our nursing home residents in New York suffering more, greatly more, than nursing home residents in other parts of our country.
Yeah. It's amazing. One of my wife Terry's for Orange County, as she monitors the amount of COVID cases they have in nursing homes. She she gets the call. She puts together this stuff for Steve Newhouse, and it's frightening. It is. It's under control. It seems to be moving hopefully in the right direction, but it is frightening, and people do have loved ones. In these places that they haven't seen sometimes in months. And that's very disturbing as well.
Good day. It's difficult to have a loved one in a nursing home.
Absolutely.
In the best of sense,
I have to say, I was blessed with a great sister. She took, my mom's situation. She died at 97, and we sold her apartment in Queens, and my sister sold her apartment in Manhattan. We bought an apartment in Bronxville with a maid's quarters. So, we were able to keep Mom with my sister in a place where she had her own space, where we had people, caregivers come in 24 hours. We were able to afford that for her, and obviously, she for herself. But we were blessed. Some people don't have that option. Some people have issues with dementia. Some people have many things.
Remember what I went through.
Right. I remember what you went through.
Yeah.
But Senator, you're right. And I really commend you. So next big question I have, and again, if I'm killing you, let me know. The budget.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to tell you, I don't know what Cuomo's banking on here. What are you guys thinking about?
So Len, I share your concern. I mean, look, I think that I'll say it this way. I guess he's banking on a minimum of $6 billion of federal aid, and hoping for $15 billion with the strategy to sue the federal government if it doesn't come through.
It's a crazy situation, right?
I think it's pretty incredible to think that that's our strategy. But look, I think the executive budget proposal that we saw released really isn't a budget at all. And when I say that, I say it because, from my perspective, I think the worst case scenario would be $0 of federal aid.
Right.
And look, I certainly hope that's not the case. With Majority Leader Schumer, there's been a commitment that the state and local governments will receive aid in New York, and I welcome that aid, because without that aid, I would tell you that we are not in a position as a state to even come close to funding the budget deficit that we're facing today. Wow. So we definitely need that aid. We need that aid to preserve the essential services in our state. But what I would tell you is, and the thing that I'm most concerned about, and so many of my colleagues, again, I'll say on both sides of the aisle, are very concerned about, is there are tremendous revenue assumptions that are based in this budget that, quite frankly, have to come through before this budget even looks anything like reality. And, today we sit here, it's basically the 1st of February. So we are 2 short months away from having to adopt a state budget, and we're holding our breath, waiting on a federal package that's completely outside the control of this legislature.
Yeah, and there's talk about the legalization of recreational marijuana. Have you guys talked about that at all?
Yeah, Len, so that conversation is starting. Certainly it's one that I'm looking forward to being a part of, because I think, like anything else, this can be done in a way that's safe and right for the public, or it can be done in the wrong way. And I think of huge public policy changes, like, for example, bail reform, that was sandwiched in a state budget that was totally done wrong. Yep. And one of my big concerns is the way that we've traditionally done business in Albany is terrible. And, by taking huge issues of public policy, like, for example, the legalization of adult use recreational marijuana, and jamming it into a state spending plan. And here we have, again, a strategy that's going to involve taking a huge matter of public policy that I believe involves conversations from all the stakeholder groups. I'm talking about, law enforcement and parent groups and so many others. This involves a conversation from everyone, and here we are again, jamming it into a state budget where it quite frankly doesn't belong.
Once again, I really do agree with you. And again, I'm going to joke, and forgive me. Understand I'm the independent. I've always had the independent mind, and I always joke that the best way to really analyze something is to let a Democrat do another study. At this stage of the game, it's not about Republican or Democrat. It's about making sure you have all the facts before you knee-jerk and make a decision. And I'm so happy that you tabled your answer in a way that really is looking for more science and more information. And I really commend you for that.
Well, right, Len, I thank you. And look, from my perspective, it's pretty simple. The devil's going to be in the details of this initiative. Look, the governor's prioritized this. The majorities in both the Assembly and the Senate have indicated that they're going to be forwarding this. So I approach it from the perspective of saying, I need to make sure that there are benefits to the communities that I represent in this proposal. When I say that, I'm talking about our farmers locally who are going to be relying on this as a revenue stream, many of them. I want to make sure that there are benefits for our local farms in this proposal. I want to make sure that there's opportunities for local jobs in this proposal. I want to make sure that we've got safeguards in place to make sure that there isn't a huge underground market that completely undermines all of the revenue benefits to the state that we see that we anticipate with legalization. So there are a ton of details that still have to be discussed, and that's really where I think our focus has to be as we move forward on this process, is, not to just simply say yes or no, but to say, okay, there is an appetite for this to move forward. The governor's put his support behind the proposal. It's clear that it's moving this year, so let's just get it right.
Right. I hope there's enough time between now and April 1 to do that, quite frankly. And I'm sorry I said that, but I really do hope. And if not, you always can go back and do it later. That's the other option. It's there's a lot of pressure right now on elected officials in general. And I think we were talking about that earlier. And we need elected officials who are transparent, and we can start trusting again. And I have to tell you, I do appreciate your candor.
Well, I thank you, Len. I thank you and Heidi for having me. And I guess maybe the last thing I'll share with you is I totally agree. I mean, now more than ever, we as elected officials, regardless of our party or our political beliefs, our political affiliations, we have an obligation to step away from the divisive politics of the moment and focus on ways that we can help the people we represent. Because right now, we hopefully with the vaccine distribution are starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel from COVID. This has been certainly a long, almost a year process. Our businesses are suffering. We started by talking about our restaurants in particular. I was on a call last night with the Ulster County School Boards Association, Zoom meeting, where we talked about the challenges to schools with our board members and many of our superintendents. Look, this is all front and center right now. So I look forward to being part of a process, again, that's going to divest ourselves from that absolutely toxic political environment of the moment and just focuses on moving forward together in ways that are meaningful and that actually help people.
Well, I do have to say that I couldn't agree with you more.
Breath of fresh air.
You are a breath of fresh air. I do want to have Ms. Hishi on. I think that's important to get the perspective of what the majority is saying as well. Have you had conversation with her? Have you talked to her at all? About stuff about the area?
Absolutely. So actually, last night we were together on the Zoom, and here I am, 29 days on the job. Unfortunately, all of our kind of communications this month has been pretty crazy. But I have had the opportunity to meet Senator Hinchy up in Albany, and I look forward to working with her. I mean, certainly, I think that she brings a new energy to the role as well, which is very welcomed. And she's someone who's called Ulster County home for her life, and is someone who has a love and affinity and a clear understanding of the area. So I certainly look forward to working with her, for the benefit of all folks that call Ulster home. And I think she's going to be an outstanding partner in the county. Ulster County is actually pretty unique because 4 senators have pieces of the county, 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. So Ulster County, in a very strange way, being cut up sometimes doesn't benefit a region. But I think that certainly one of the benefits is that you have a lot of perspectives and a lot of voices that get to really bring the interests of the region to the table. I've also had a great opportunity to speak with County Executive Ryan, who has been very gracious and helpful to me, and I look forward to working with him as well. So I think it's going to be a very good relationship.
Good. It's really funny you say about the 4 senators. At one time, this is going back years, I said to Senator Bonisic and Senator Seward, I said, guys, we have a coalition here. We should be able to get anything done we want. And they looked at me like half crooked. But that was kind of a joke, and we teased about it. But
well, we thank the senator for coming on. I know he's a very busy man.
Are you busy today?
Yes, he's very busy.
Yeah. So actually, we're wrapping up now because I have a radio show that I do. So I'm sorry to Kingston Community Radio. I do cheat on them every Friday morning because I have an Orange County radio show. But I love joining you folks, and Heidi and Len, I'll be back anytime. So please invite me anytime to chat.
Thank you.
And I think we had fun this morning. So
yeah, we did, and that's what it's all about. We try to keep it informative, we try to keep it light, but we also want good, honest answers, and that's what we go after. And thank you for your candor.
Thank you, Senator. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Hope to see you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye. He's a great guy. He got a lot of good energy, doesn't he?
Has excellent, a very high energy.
Yep.
And like you said, a breath of fresh air.
He is. I mean, you work for the guy. It's funny, but with that, so but you listen.
I worked for the other guy too.
You did. You work for other guys too. So you see what people are like, and I have to say,
what?
We need.
Lawrence will be back.
Lawrence will be back in a second.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
That's
He had
It
a.
happens.
It happens.
No, we're
Sorry, I was in the bathroom.
That's okay.
He's gone or did we lose him?
No, he had to go because
did
he
he?
had another show in Orange.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. So you were saying, Heidi?
It's annoying.
The thing of that is people can always sense authenticity. It's just human nature, and I could feel his energy from the day I met him.
Yep.
The guy's authentic.
He is.
And he brings a great energy to the district, and I think he's gonna do some really good stuff.
Well, it's nice about him and about, Senator Hinchy is they're young.
I know everyone's young, Len.
Huh?
Everyone's younger than us.
Well, younger than me. I'm old.
So thank you to Senator Mike Martucci. He represents the 42nd Senate District here at parts of Ulster County.
Yep.
And, we have a caller. Good morning, caller.
Yes, and this caller happens to be older than you.
And you're telling me. You don't need to tell me, actually. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. My question is for you guys about the last night on the news. It broke that we now have the South African variant in the United States in, I believe it was South Carolina. So my question is, how do you think that this may slow down the distribution of the COVID vaccines? Since it's already slow going out, do you think it's going to slow it down more?
I didn't
because
watch the
they
news
might have to
last
come
night.
up with a booster.
I didn't watch the news last night.
But
Kidding.
let me say this about that. This morning driving in, they talked about it on radio. And it's interesting, the way we're tabling this is there's a variant, and we understand that. So the question was to Moderna and to Pfizer, what do they do? So what they do is this. They figure out, first of all, is the vaccine that we currently have, can it help with this variant? If the answer is yes or no, that's what they're working on. Secondly, if there isn't, there could be an additional vaccine. A booster type of vaccine is how they described it on the radio. But it's what may have to happen. And, we have
Are they? I was half joking about watching the news last night, but I didn't realize. Is this now an issue that the vaccine may not protect against the variant?
They don't know yet.
Wow.
That's the issue.
Wow.
But again, it's like everything else.
That is so indicative to this disease. Is like it's we don't know.
No, but Heidi, with all due respect to the pharmaceuticals, and I'm not a big pharmaceutical fan, the harsh reality is this. I used to get flu shots, and sometimes you hear people say, I got the flu shot, but I got the flu. That only happens because
Different strain.
it's a different strain.
Yeah, that happened.
So that happens. And I'm not minimizing it, ma'am.
Influenza A, I get it.
Correct. I'm not minimizing this issue at all. But it is a very scientific, it needs a very scientific answer and approach. But that's how I see this.
That's our scientific answer to you, caller.
That's the best answer I can give you, caller.
Do you have any? What's your opinion?
Well, my concern is that it may slow down the distribution of the current vaccinations, so that they can work on a booster.
No, I don't think. My opinion of that is, I think, well, specifically, let's talk about New York State. They had a kind of a bumpy start. In getting it distributed. I think at this stage of the game, it's like the Army. You have to have that mission, right? And you have to have an initiative. And I think that initiative needs to be continued. And as we go along through the mission, make sure that we can affect most people with the the virus we have now. And as we have issues, we catch up to them and make adjustments. So I think that, to answer your question, my opinion of that would be, I think the plan needs to move forward, and it should not wait and effectively wait for every single variant to be managed. So I think that they're going to move forward, and that's everything I've read, and it's only 24-hour news cycle here. So we will find out what that answer is, but I don't think it's going to be effective at all.
Well, I thank you, caller. And this isn't just your average caller. This is a very special caller. I recognize her voice.
Who's
She's
that?
a lifelong friend of mine since childhood. Those type of good friends that you meet when you're like 5 or 6 years old. Grew up in the same.
Pull you around on a sleigh.
She set me up. She's the reason I'm spoiled today. I was the only one in the neighborhood that like got pulled back up Turco's Hill on a sled. It's
And
like,
who is it?
Oh, this is my. Oh, I don't know if she wants me to say her name, so I won't mention her actual name. But
It's Melinda.
Melinda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, grew up, in a great neighborhood. A neighborhood where all the kids had their bikes out, and we,
Isn't that
played
great?
on each other's lawns and ate ice pops and drank from the hose. And here we are. Oh my gosh, Melinda, I met you over 40 years ago, and just a real.
See, I
great
told you I'm older than you.
Yeah, you are older.
Well.
But anyway, thanks for calling, and you have a great day. And we have to take a commercial break, but we'll be back.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Someone in your town, at your school, or where you work is suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They're dealing with excruciating pain and days when they can't even get out of bed. Chances are someone you know has Crohn's or colitis. Someone like me. I'm Amy Brenneman, and I'm asking you to support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America to help millions of us cope and to find cures. Visit ccfa.org today to learn more. Help someone you know get back to their lives at ccfa.org.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This programming is brought to you by the Friends of Kevin Cahill. As a strong advocate of local broadcasting, Assemblymember Cahill urges you to support Kingston Community Radio with your time and donations. Your contributions keep KCR vital and on the air at FM 92.5, AM 920, and on the web at mykcr.org. Please join Assemblymember Cahill and send your gifts of $10, $25, or more to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. Together, let's keep KCR alive.
And we're back, and it's
We're
Friday
back.
at 8 a.m. just about.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that means it's birthday
Birthday time.
Love birthdays.
I
know,
know you
I
do.
can't imagine anyone who would ever have a problem with their birthday.
That's me.
Well, that's weird.
No, it's not. I just never never liked celebrating my birthday.
It's funny, though. We should skip COVID birthday.
What is?
We didn't really live that much this year.
No, we had a
we were
tough.
alive, but there's a difference. Like,
Yeah, we lived a different way, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, we're learning to live with it, and we're learning to live better because of the vaccine and things
yeah,
that
oh
are
boy,
going to make
Bryce
it better.
is heading into his second birthday for COVID.
Yeah, so-
March. My mom, it was March 13th, and we were all due to go out to dinner that night.
Really?
We're going over to Butchie Guido's Little Italy for dinner.
Yeah. It's funny. We want to, wish Butchie a healthy recovery and hope he's doing well. We want to have him on. He will be on. It's a great restaurant, by the way. It's fabulous. And
We
Mariners.
like all our Italian restaurants.
I get it. I get it. The Savonas, the pizzerias.
So with that being said,
Happy birthday. Here we go. So January 31st. Happy birthday to Mary Mayon. Love your family, many friends, your card players, and have a wonderful day. And the birthday winner for the famous cow pie for January 31st is Mary Mayon, courtesy of Boyce Dairy Milk House and Kingston Community Radio.
Happy birthday, Mary.
Happy
so you can
birthday.
Head over and pick up your famous cow pie.
Please go pick up your cow
I
pie.
remind everyone to send, like this, there's not a lot of birthdays. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, please send your birthday stuff. Maybe January people are cold.
I don't know. No.
Actually, when it comes to birthdays, no more phone calls. We can't write them down. We have too much other things going on. Just mail them or email them. So you can mail them to P.O. Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402, or you can email them to kcr921@gmail.com. If you send them in 10 days beforehand, you got a good chance of winning the cake.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Actually, if you send them in 2 weeks prior to the birthday, you'll have probably a 99.9%
I think I'm submitting
chance.
this year. I want the cake.
I've had the cow pie. It's delicious.
I have too.
Yeah, it's really ice cream. That's one of my vices. Ice cream.
I get it. Hey, did you figure out if that place is? If I was right about that, the ice cream place.
Figure it out.
You can't, huh?
Did you say they were closing?
Yeah. Yeah, that
They
was.
have a Facebook page.
Yeah. So anyway, we had a great call, and listen, it's tough times, but please call in. What's the number, Heidi? 331.
9255.
There you
It's
go.
a call-in show.
Yes, it is.
Call in. I mean, it doesn't have to be about politics.
No, it could be about anything.
Everybody affiliates us with politics.
Yeah.
But like,
Doesn't have to be.
let's start with some good. We got to do the good, the bad, and the grimy. I haven't done that.
You haven't done that in a long time. You had a grimy on your Facebook the
Yeah,
other
there was
day.
some grimy. There was a lot of grimy that day.
What happened?
I'm not willing to share, but
You're
it
not.
was just it was just a grimy day.
Yeah. I remember that day because I don't know, I had something go wrong or something, and I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh! But right before that, I had a horrible day. What day was that?
I don't remember.
I remember I couldn't wait to have a better day. I don't remember what
Yeah.
happened on that day, but that was the day I put the credit card in the thing.
Oh.
I got a I got a no register.
That's crazy.
That was a terrible day. I need to go home and go to bed.
Well, that's what happened.
It's the first time I ever got a ticket in my entire life.
Oh, because all the cops, they don't give you tickets.
That's not true.
What do you mean?
I don't get pulled over.
Oh.
I always take the ticket. We know that.
Yeah.
As a county ledge.
All right, we have a caller.
Oh, good morning, caller.
Good morning, people. How are everybody doing today?
Great,
Great.
George. How are you?
I'm surviving. No major complaints. I'm just getting a little bit fed up with everything that's coming out of D.C., that's coming out of AOC's mouth, and Biden's two-faced reactions that he's been doing down there, where he talked about executive orders is not good and everything else, and here he is. How many of them has he signed?
Yeah.
And the fact where, hey, I supported Trump. I got no problem admitting that, but I tell you what I don't like, I spent 21 and a half years between active duty and reserve time. For them to flat out call everybody that supported him a domestic terrorist, it's a slap in the face to all us good people out here that didn't believe in a lot of Trump's rhetoric, but we did believe in his policies and stuff.
Yeah.
And the talk that they're going to send me to a re-education camp, come on, where did that come from? That sounds like communist China, North Korea, Vietnam, North Vietnam and stuff. All that talk is ridiculous. What is wrong with these people?
Well, let me say, it's interesting. I've been reading a book. I'm probably 3/4 the way through it. It's called Social Justice versus Biblical Justice. And it's the kind of things you're talking about. It's what kind of things that are what they call worldwide or nationally wide acceptances. And those are, justices that are made up by laws. And then we have what we know as biblical justice, or justice of taught what this country was made on in terms of God and the Bible. So the harsh reality, George, is this. When things come out of people's mouths, it's because they have the bully pulpit. So we have to be able to siphon through that and just make sure we understand what we believe in our hearts, what's right or wrong. And unfortunately, the spoils go to the winner. And that's where we are. And I'm saying not good, not bad, not indifferent. It's just what happens. So right now, it's almost like buckle up. We're going to go for a little ride. And we'll see where this is all heading and where it's going to take us.
Oh, yeah, because I tell you what, I believe that everything that's come out of AOC's mouth, she means. That girl is a rack job. And for her to be in charge of anything down in D.C. says a lot for the Democratic Party. And for them to use and abuse the troops like they did down in Washington, that was ridiculous. That was just a show of, we're in charge, we got the power, don't you dare think about doing anything. But yet, you still have the riots and protests that are going on out on the West Coast and in certain cities that they're not touching. Why? It's the same thing.
Yeah. It's really funny, but we have Schumer now, right? And, it's going to be a very interesting situation because there's going to be a lot of, you're going to watch probably in the next, month or so, especially as we go through this budget cycle at the state, the difference between the Cuomo and the Schumer, and how those heads are going to bang. That relationship is not as huge. It's one that has interesting components to it. But we're going to see where that really falls out as we get through this budget time. Listen, there's a lot to be said about how politics is being played and is being done. Right now, the people in her district are voting for her, like it or not. But that's where we say, and I'm not trying to listen to you. I'm not saying I disagree or agree with you, because I think you know where I stand. But the harsh reality is these are the obstacles that if Biden is going to be true to his word and true to his inaugural speech, is that we need to unite. And right now, he's better start to show it a little bit more than he's doing. But we'll see where it goes and see where this takes us.
Right, because I tell you what, they never accepted 4 years ago when Trump got elected. They tortured that man for a whole 4 years. Granted, the man's got a big mouth and stuff, but still, they never accepted it now automatically when Biden got elected. Oh, we have to unify. We have to accept the fact that he's president. Hey, he is president, yes. That is a given point. But I tell you what, the rhetoric about having people who disagree with you, like being cut off Twitter, cut off this and stuff, off the Facebook pages and everything else, it's lunacy. Whatever happened to free speech?
Yeah.
As long as you're not inciting riots or doing riots, on the left, some of the riots in these cities was all formulated on Facebook and Twitter.
That's a very interesting point, George. Thanks for calling in, but that's a really interesting point, Heidi. A lot of these groups that want to get their opinions out, call it peaceful protests. The leaders of those groups really need to start understanding what that means. And I think it's up to them, those leaders, whoever those groups are, to really get a grasp on what it means to have a peaceful protest.
Oh, clearly.
Right,
and I think
that's what the military fought for, so that people have the right to protest.
Right, I get it.
But they don't have the right to burn, loot, and destroy people's livelihood because they felt in the mood to do so. And there's no justification for that. There's no justification to tie the hands of our police officers. They arrest these people. They're right back out on the street with just a slap on the wrist, if anything at all.
Yeah.
There are laws, and the laws are supposed to be enforced. Like you had the Attorney General earlier in the summer telling the New York City police, oh, don't pull people over for minor vehicle infractions. Why? The law is on the books. If you don't want to have the laws obeyed or whatever, they don't put them on the books.
Yep.
And it's something to, hey, we're going down a bad road here, I'm afraid. And I guess I'm in my late 60s and stuff now. But I don't like what I'm seeing, and I hope we can turn it around to where the country get back to where it's supposed to be.
Well, we pray for that every day. Thanks for calling in, George. Have a great day, and we really appreciate your point of view, certainly. And I think we all tend to want the same thing, and that's to have really unity. And we have to get there, and we have to depend on guys like Mortucci and Cahill and Hinchy and all these folks to start getting together. Schumer, Cuomo, all of them, Ort. To start really making that hard effort to do
work
it.
for the people instead of your party.
Yep.
After the election's over, let's drop the D, let's drop the R, let's drop the I, and work for the people like you're supposed to be doing. And we had a great town supervisor here in town of Sopa, John Coutant. And after the election, he forgot what party he ran for. He worked for everybody. That was what we need a lot more of.
Yeah, as it should be. And John was a wonderful man. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Yes, he tried to get in the middle.
Yeah, John Coutant was a great guy.
He didn't do it, but yet he supported the veterans and everything else here in the town of Esopus. To whatever he was able to do for him, he did. So
I do have a funny story about John.
Well, thank you so much for
Thanks,
calling in,
thanks,
George.
George.
And
thank
have
you
a great
guys.
weekend.
Have a great day.
Stay safe and stay healthy.
Yeah.
too.
So John's supervisor, and we go to visit, and we're talking about something, and they were talking about these things that floated in the river.
Oh, the water chestnuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
they're
God.
invasive species.
He had such a story. I mean, he worked his butt off.
You had to get the harvester and.
You remember that?
Yeah.
That
I
was-
don't actually remember that. I never had the pleasure of meeting John, but.
Oh, you know?
But my family has, and I was able, to meet his son and have good conversations with one of his sons.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, water chestnuts are terrible.
They are. I haven't, since he's gone.
You know what they are?
I know they're spiny and they hurt your feet.
Yeah. Unless you grew up here and you swam down at Kingston Point or somewhere in Port.
So what's the story with them?
They're horrible. I think people who are raised around here have tougher feet if you hung out down at the point. I mean, they would ruin your day all the time. Like I told my kids, I grew up, my dad, my mom and my dad a little bit more because he had some time in the summers off, would take me and my brothers down to Kingston Point. And, you just didn't get through a day unless you stepped on, I can't even say one. It would probably be, a half dozen. And, they're actually an invasive species, and the seed pod of it, it's like that because it prongs itself into the dirt, the muck at the bottom of the Hudson River, and it grows, and then at some point it releases itself, and it washes up on the beach. And although the workers do their best to rake the beach, you're going to step on them. And I could think back to my childhood, and you're always pulling them out of your feet. It sucked.
That's so funny.
It's a very painful memory. So several years ago, I took my kids down to Rotary Park, and I said, make sure you have good shoes on, And we get out of the Jeep, and Lydia's got these chintzy, Old Navy flip flops that you buy for $1. I said, Lydia, she goes, they're fine. I was like, And what happens?
She got stabbed.
Yeah, through the flip flop.
Is that right?
You know what? It was great because now she's experiencing.
She'll never do that again.
No, she'll never do it again, and they'll never forget it. But
Yeah.
it made you tough. We called them cow heads.
Is that right?
Yeah, steps on a
But
cow
anyway,
head.
the story is great because he was trying to get money to do this, and Terry was the chair of the legislature. So, of course, it was a off-hours type of thing, and I took a ride with her. Actually, I drove her down to Esopus, and they had their meeting. I waited in the car, and she had come back with one of these things, and how they had to harvest them and take care of them and make sure the shoreline was, somewhat free of them. But
He did. He got the harvester.
he had a lot of first. He was the first supervisor to when they built the town of Esopus Town Hall. He was the first supervisor to enact solar energy, and he did it beautifully. You can't even see it. It's down a little hole, a big hole, but nonetheless, it's. But they did he really did a wonderful job, and thinking out of the box at the time to make that town hall a town hall of the future, so to speak. Yeah. And I commend him for that. And yeah, I remember him for that. So, but nonetheless, just talk about him for a second. That was nice, I guess. But no, it's.
What do you got that's good?
What?
Good.
Good what?
Good, bad, and grimy.
I'm not, you're the good grime and great, I think, what's good, bad, and grimy,
So what's good? I see Terry's been skating on the pond.
She has. Today my Facebook post, or it has been posted, that we are not skating today because it's minus 17 degrees on the lake.
No skating today.
So there's no skating today. Maybe we'll be back the next couple of days, but I understand we're in for a wintry, cold
so I don't know.
weekend.
Maybe that's, I just saw some T-bone steaks on sale here. No.
What's that? Adams.
Strips. Bone-in New York strips, $6.99 a pound at Adams. So
that's a good deal.
That's good.
You're usually at $12 or $13 a pound.
Yeah, so that's good. But yeah, I don't know if the pending snow. Wayne said to me last night, "How much snow are we expected to get?" And I hadn't even seen the weather. So are we getting snow? That could be bad.
Tuesday, Wednesday. They don't know.
Though.
Listen, I'm ready for it too. It's funny. We're trying to have a cleaner diet, Terry and I. So we've cut out a lot of the white stuff.
We're not buying these steaks.
No, we can eat red meat. I mean, the red is, it's not part of the regimen all the time, but it's once a month. But the vegetable stuff, I mean, I don't know if anybody's tried the broccoli rabe lately, but they've been sweet as sugar.
Yeah, and broccolini I like too.
And broccoli, they've been sweet as sugar. So this weekend, I'm doing a bunch of vegetables. You know what I've gotten into? And it's crazy.
What?
All the squashes, these spaghetti squash, the butternut squash. I've gotten into the squashes. We've been eating a lot of that.
I like the squash. You know what I'm having tomorrow?
What happened?
No, what I'm having.
What are you having?
My mom's cooking a turkey.
Nice, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, can't wait.
Not for nothing, Heidi, but you're blessed.
Oh, I am blessed. I realize that.
Think about it. Your mom cooks.
Yeah, well, yes, very much so. It's been.
Bakes.
I haven't seen my mom. I saw her maybe once or twice since Christmas,
Yeah.
but she literally lives across the driveway.
I know she does.
I've been stopping in, though, to her job, the Roost, on my way to work. Picked up lunch a couple of times.
Oh, did you really? That's
I didn't
nice.
tip her. Well, I tried.
Of all people. I mean, really.
But yeah, so that's good.
Well, it's funny you say the Roost. That's my go-to place when I have to have meeting with people.
Yeah.
It is. It's a great place. Good food. Eclectic food. So whoever you're eating with, they have a good menu to choose from, and the service is always extraordinary. Well, it's because I was going to mom's there, but that's a different issue. But it is. She's really a great person. I mean, she's funny. She's just a funny character.
Yeah, she's great. She's got quite a following. So yeah, now the snow, is it supposed to go for several days, or what's the deal?
I guess Tuesday, Wednesday, but again, it's up in the air.
Oh, that's great. That's Wayne's day off.
It was good.
Well, not totally off.
My problem is they stole my snowblower a year ago or something.
You haven't gotten it back yet?
No, I wouldn't even buy. I went to buy one, didn't have any, so now I figure, it's like I have to shovel like the size of the thing. It's like.
And if you park your car in your truck in your driveway, you don't have to shovel anything.
Right, yeah, and I have to, where the plow comes, I have to shovel
to get
behind
out.
it, and like 20 feet, not even, so it's like.
Silly, right?
And it's funny because I want to do it, right? I shovel the deck. It's like, but I'm not going to go out there, but I shovel it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But I think it's more of something to do than anything else. But,
Yeah, that happens.
But no, I mean, grimy stuff is, listen.
Oh, we didn't get to the grimy.
We didn't get to the grimy. But let's talk about the grimy for a second.
Yeah, let's go grimy.
What do you feel? I mean, you're a legislator. What's going on? What do you feel is grimy?
Well, why do you have to equate it to the legislature?
Well, because that's the only place that you could find
there's
grimy.
all over.
Where?
There could be grimy and just regular life grimy.
Okay, so what does that mean?
It means like someone could just be grimy, like.
Like who?
Well, I have no example right now, but clearly Grimy could just be, somebody who's like a liar,
Oh, we don't like that part.
narcissist.
We hate that part.
Psychopath, like someone that could just, that's Grimy.
We don't like that either.
But no, the county legislature, I honestly don't have a lot to report. After we did our organizational meeting,
Right.
we don't start to resume committee meetings. They're still working all that out after, we just have we voted for Dave Donaldson to be chair.
Dave's a good guy.
So we have this kind of lull,
Gotcha.
as we work on our committee assignments. And with that being said, I'm hoping that my committee assignments stay the same.
Good.
I'll gear up for, I was deputy chair of law enforcement.
Yep.
Eve Walter from New Paltz is the chairwoman of law enforcement.
Yeah, lucky you.
Lucky law enforcement.
Yeah.
And I also serve on the Ways and Means Committee.
Good.
And I was a liaison to the Fire Advisory Board, but I do believe I had a conflict last night and did miss that meeting that they held by Zoom, so I have to reach out. I got to write myself a note because I did miss that. But
Yeah.
Laura Petit, she's
a good person. No, getting back to Dave, I got to tell you, we've had our differences over the years, but he beat up Terry pretty hard when she was chair. But I will tell you, he's a good guy. I mean, he is one of those people that you always could say to yourself, you could have a conversation with. And he's a defender of people. And that I have to respect as well. So let's hope that he has a good year.
Yeah, it's going to be a challenging year. We
Sure
thought
it is.
last year was difficult. I think this
Yeah.
year is going to prove to be just as difficult, if not a little bit more, because this year is going to be when we're really, truly realizing the complete effects of COVID
Yeah.
and its impact on budgets.
You know what we do have to talk about a little bit is the Kingstonian Project went
Oh,
through.
sorry, can't.
Huh?
Just kidding. No, we talked about that the last time.
No, that they voted. Did they vote it? Did they?
I thought that we talked about that the last time. We
Oh.
can talk about that again. That's great.
No, but they, I think the
IDA.
the IDA got cojones,
Oh, jeez.
and
Yeah.
and they did they did the right thing. I do, and I wish them well, and I hope that the project goes as well as they want it to go, and it becomes the asset that I believe that it's going to be for the community. And let's move forward from here. And again,
There are still a group of people who are, pushing back against. I've received several emails. My vote was my vote. I
Yep.
voted in favor of the Kingstonian. I believe in it. I had an overwhelming number of supporters of the project
Good.
reach out to me in my legislative district.
Good.
And I do believe they're going to probably try to start lobbying on a state level to change some things, way the monies are distributed to the schools or not. We have one.
well, that's let's face the hard facts. That's the Achilles tendon of New York State, is how the schools are funded.
Well, I mean, through a pilot situation.
Even with that said, I mean, with all due respect, they're only going to benefit. This money that they had before. So
I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the outcome. I'm happy with the decision, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see, something be built and move forward from the nothing that was there and then zero revenue, the zero taxes that were coming
Yep.
in. I'm excited.
No, you should be.
And I'm also very happy for both the Benoras and the Jordans.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them.
Yeah. Hey, someone's got to come forward with something. What does Terry always say to you? What's your little comments? We can't have anything nice.
Yeah, like why can't we have anything nice? I've been spending a good amount of time down in Orange County. We've got some nice stuff down
It's amazing, huh?
Yeah, it really is amazing.
Yep, it is.
We're hoping to have more nice things
Yep.
here in Ulster, but we have to stop being cave people, citizens against virtually everything.
Yep, it's true.
So I think we have a break. We'll be back after.
Yep.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
On top of first-class care, you will never receive a bill. The only thing we had to worry about was just keeping Azalea comfortable. St. Jude saved her life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org. A message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare.
There's pain that does not stop.
I feel trapped by migraine.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
I feel like I'm dying. You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
Hi, my name is Jackie Lovezzo. I'm from Lake Katrine, and I support the Kingston Community Radio because it is an invaluable resource to the community and its residents.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
My hair was wet. Oh, and we're back.
Oh, we are back.
Why is this always like something that...
Shoes are off again, Heidi. That's
I have
funny.
several shoes.
We've had shoe stories.
Bag lady.
Yeah, I am a bag lady.
Oh, God.
And I do have shoe stories, but
You have
we'll
other
save them
stories.
for another time.
That's true. Let's save them.
Yeah, the wind last night was crazy.
It is crazy, and I got to tell
I don't
you.
have any trees in my yard.
Yeah, you're lucky now. No, God. So, what do you think? How do you think the budget's going to go in the county this year?
Oh my goodness, I'm still coming off of last year's budget. That was grueling, but we did the best that we could do.
Wow.
And I don't know because, like I said, we're gonna realize some really true effects of COVID, and it's all going to be reliant also on the federal government sending money down to the states and then down to the counties and municipalities. I mean, we really need that to happen, and even Senator Martucci spoke to that as well. So we're going to have to it's a wait and see type situation. I know, I mean, it's been said that we'll be in a better position with our current president than we were in our former president.
Well, because you have Democratic government here in New York State.
Quite honestly, President Trump was giving New York a hard time.
Well, yeah. At the same time, we're going to see how good they're treated.
We were going to see. We will see. So I'm hopeful. I'm going to, hey, man, I'm digging deep for the hopeful. Like I've been, I'm usually like, the little ray of sunshine, or at least I try to be.
You are.
A little bit difficult.
Yeah.
I don't want to get fluffy, but.
No, here's, you talk about the, the grimy or whatever. This whole fluffy issue, I mean, not pointing directly at you, it's called tolerance. I told you this book I've been reading about social justice versus biblical justice, and we as Christians have to realize that we have to believe in biblical justice. There's just no question about it. The social justice is something that we have to understand. But if we just stick to our morals and the Bible, we'll be able to get past what that social justice is.
That's great great for people who aren't atheists.
And that's a very interesting part.
You're not dealing with...
No. That's why you got to read this book. With that, it talks about that specifically. It's called Worldwide Acceptance, right? So we let worldwide acceptance come into our lives completely. Why? Because everybody has to be heard, and they should be heard. At the same time, we have laws today that are based upon what they call worldviews, which really have no place, but they have a place for some people who are atheists. So what happens is we have to, one side, and I'll call it, the X side, has to understand that there are both sides. But if we live in a way, and we carry ourselves in a way of what will it bring us, Heidi? It will bring us honest government. Don't forget, these are the people. Now listen, I listened to Biden's inauguration. It was God-based all over it. So let's take that God-based feeling and move it forward into society. And it's up to him. It's up to our president to make that move. He tried. Let's see where it brings us. So we can talk about all of the stuff that's wrong about it. But when we look at it, we have to have our leaders accept it. And that's what they're preaching.
Well, yeah, but this
did you watch the inauguration?
This isn't anything you can... I actually made it through 5 minutes and started crying.
Did you really?
Yeah, when they panned out to the Capitol lawn.
Oh, okay.
What that brought back. And
I know.
I literally cried. And then I cried for the fact, I cried because of the state of our nation.
Yeah.
I cried because I wished I had been there. It was very emotional. But you can't legislate ethics, right? We know this.
Okay. I think you can.
I think we have a bit of misguided altruism going on.
We do. We absolutely do.
I think people have good intent.
Right.
And I'd like to believe that, people are inherently good.
Correct.
For the most part, except for the psychopaths. But, but there's a bit of some misguided things that go on, and I see that in some of the social justice movements also. But the intent is there to be good. I get it.
Right.
So, but yeah, this book you speak of, perhaps they make it available on Audible.
They do.
Okay. Are you reading it?
I'm reading it.
You bought a book again? Is this the same book from the last time?
Listen, I had to give up a book.
Yeah.
To get a book. Believe me. Okay, Terry, guilty. That's what they call Terry justice. We've downsized a lot. So, and I don't like to listen to books. I like to pick it up. I like to sit in my chair. I like to read.
Yeah.
I don't want to put ear. Here's what happens. I put the ear things in.
Fall asleep.
And I start snoring. So.
That's ASMR. That's like those.
Yeah. So I have, but I can stay awake and read. So you figure that one out. I don't know. But
yeah. Maybe you take some notes in the margin.
I do actually. I do highlight and take notes in the margin. I do references.
Oh my
God! Old school.
I'll do that in my spare time.
Well, we all make our own spare time. Yeah.
Right.
I believe that too, by the way.
But books on tape, I should get that right now, though.
You're good with that because you have what, a 45-minute ride?
I wish.
Is it longer?
A little bit longer.
Okay, so you have an hour ride.
Yeah.
An hour and 10-minute ride? Or 50? No, whatever it is.
Nonetheless, I could probably learn a different language.
Oh. Ramble? Is that the name?
Babble.
Right now, $50 for the year.
Considering it.
You should. What do you want to learn?
I don't know. I should probably start to brush up on my Spanish.
You like Spanish?
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's your romantic language.
I guess. There will be nothing romantic about me speaking a foreign language. I can guarantee you.
No, but they do have a $50 special right now. They do.
I saw that.
Babble. I call it ramble. What do I call it?
Ramble is what we tend to do on the show.
Yeah, we do. I do.
Babble is, I believe, to learn another
language. Yeah. My sister has a dream that she's 74, and she's putting a plan together that she wants to follow, and she works for Redeemer Church, and she wants to church plant in Europe, and she wants to do it in Sicily and Italy. So she's, that's in her plan of how she wants to spend, some better part of her whole, her last chapter. So she says, well, what do I think? I said, listen, if that's what you want to do it. While you're healthy.
Never too late.
Never too late to do anything. So she's the one who told me about.
Babel.
Yeah, so she's taking, because we don't speak Italian, we speak Sicilian. It's like, believe it or not, Sicilian is more like Arabic than it is Italian. So a good example is the word soup. Italian it's zupa, and in Sicilian it's brodo.
Oh, way different.
Way different. So, and there's a lot of words like that. I mean, it goes on and on. I can go on and on. But no, she's wants to learn how to speak proper Italian, which is a good thing, and you should do that. If you have something you have in your mind, definitely do it.
On my list.
On your list, check it off. Anyway, so what's the call-in number?
Oh, well, we have a few.
We have 40. Well, we have 15 minutes.
15 minutes. I heard that flights to Orlando are like $39.
I flew round trip to Fort Lauderdale last week for $183.
Really?
Yeah, I had to go through Baltimore because Southwest doesn't fly direct from Albany to Fort Lauderdale. I don't fly JetBlue anymore because they're terrible. I've never been on a JetBlue flight that hasn't been delayed at least an hour.
Oh, man.
Really?
Yeah. Even though they have TVs in all the seats or whatever, I can just bring a book.
American is back to Seward.
Are they? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, my uncle told me that he was, looking into tickets in the spring. They were to Orlando, $39.
They fly direct from Albany.
So I said to Wayne, "Wow, there's flights to Orlando for $39." And what does that mean? Is it a round trip?
No, definitely not.
I'm like, really? Like you couldn't just say, "Wow, that's a great deal," because of how he is. He's like, is it round trip?
I'm not looking to travel right now.
No, I know.
Terry's dying to go away. Yeah. And I'm pushing back. I really am.
I'm telling you, it's not scary. I'm more nervous of catching COVID in Hannaford than I am at the airport.
Are you really?
Yeah, they're on top of it. I mean, you can't take your mask off. No one even talks on an airplane anymore.
Oh,
People
really?
just sit there, either fall asleep or they're reading. No one orders food. No one says anything. I mean, it's almost like you're in a church or like a library. Like I remember prior to COVID, you would be on the airplane, you'd have a Bloody Mary, you'd start socializing with your neighbors. Exactly. Hey, what are you doing? My name is Joe Bloke, whatever.
Yeah.
Now you don't even look at each other. You get on the plane, you sit down, you get to your spot, they take you off.
Is there any social distancing on the plane at all or no?
You have to wear your mask from the moment you get out of the Uber car.
You do sit next to a stranger still?
They just started they just started doing that. It used to be you have a seat in between you, but now, on Monday I flew from Fort Lauderdale to Chicago. There was 300 seats on the plane. There was 300 people on the flight.
Is that right? That's good.
You have to take a test prior to leaving. Like I had to take a COVID test prior to leaving Florida. It had to be, come back not detected, which it did. Then I filled out the New York State Traveler form. The one that our dictator Cuomo said he had to do, or we're not going to let you back in the state. So I'm all ready with my test and my sheet all filled out. There was no one even there checking it, man.
Really?
Yeah.
It's funny you said that's grimy. That's grimy. The other grimy, you talk about what's that thing they do with the if someone gets tracing.
Oh, contact tracing.
Yeah, what is this contract? Where is this? It's funny to tell it.
I have it.
You have one?
Contacted.
Really?
Yeah, I put the app on my phone.
Yeah.
I was exposed.
I don't think anybody does. I don't see any path to it.
We did decent contact tracing on a county level back when there weren't so many, but the state, I'm not sure what happened with their contact tracing. But I did install the app on my phone. I would like to know if somebody I was around was exposed. I mean, you probably just, God help them if they're following me.
The three of us might have had it already.
We don't know.
Okay, we might be asymptomatic. I mean, I flew 11 times in 2020. I didn't once feel unsafe.
Good for you.
You wear your mask, you do what you're supposed to do. Unless someone walks up to you and sneezes on you or spits in your face, you're probably not going to get it from just someone. Maybe if they cough and you walk into it.
Right.
I know she's germophobic over here,
God,
so.
I'm dying just hearing this stuff. This is like.
I mean, what are we going to do? Sit at home for the rest of our lives?
No,
I mean,
but we could just I love the masks.
I like it too, and I think even though after we get all our vaccines,
Especially
I think
when
they
you fall
should.
asleep on the plane and your mouth opens. I always wear a scarf.
Well, you have a mask on. You can't take your mask off. Yeah,
that's so great. So we should have always worn these because I always wore a scarf and a hoodie because I don't want to put my head on the headrest of the plane.
Jesus. And I saw in the last 4 times I flew last week. Then before that, I didn't fly till October. I did my part over the holidays and listened to our idiot governor. I said I'm going to do my part. I'm not going to fly. I'm not going to travel just to because they were asking everyone not to. So I did. But if you're standing on line, because on Southwest you get it's open seating, so you can sit wherever you want. But when they put you in the groups of 30 or whatever, if someone, I saw this happen back in October, if someone has a bad cough, even though you've been tested and don't have it, they won't let you on the plane, even if you have a mask on. So they'll be like, sir, you're going to have to, here's your money back, or you're going to have to pick a different date, or, they've pulled people off the line before. Some people are nervous.
I think it's
don't blame
going
them.
I think it's going to get to a
She's
point.
watching, so she's laughing because she says, because I fly so much. There was a time when I did do good vacations and whatnot. That was back at the firehouse. Those were some good times.
I used to fly a lot. It's funny. Terry says to me all the time, I don't understand why you want to fly. My attitude about flying is I've flown in my past.
Listen, Donna,
a lot.
fly. Okay, I've flown with you to Punta Cana, and 1 year I flew to Punta Cana, Florida. I took a cruise. So you just watch it with your morning hair.
That's funny. We're talking about COVID. So now, ever since I've been home, the New York State Department of Health texts me every day. They say, do you feel here? Hang on, I'll read it to you. This has been happening every day since I landed on Monday or Tuesday. It started. Since we last contacted you, have you had a fever, cough, shortness of breath, diarrhea, or felt ill? Please reply Y or N. So I haven't.
Oh, so that's where the breakdown in the communication for the contact tracing is. It's people like Lawrence who don't respond.
I am responding every day, but I don't have any of the symptoms, and I did everything they told me to do. And then when I got back to the airport, they weren't even checking.
You were like, someone look at this. And
so I asked one of the airport workers, I'm like, for the last 6 months they've been in here, because before November, you couldn't fly in from a state that had like a high COVID rate.
Yeah.
Right. So I used to have to fly through like Maryland or Illinois or somewhere else before I came to New York, or they weren't going to let me in. Right. Even though, I've taken the test 4 times. I've taken it 3 times in New York and once in Florida, and it's come back as not detected every time. Yeah. And the last time when I went and got it on Sunday in Boca Raton, they were like, oh, well, we'll text you within 45 minutes. I was sitting at IHOP with my friend eating breakfast because I had to sit online to wait to get tested. And they texted me in 18 minutes and said, you're good.
Wow.
So I was like, wow, that's pretty quick. So the rapid one works just as well.
Right.
Yeah. And some people in Florida, my one friend's neighbor, she goes every day to get tested. I'm like, maybe you could like break it down 3 times a week. I mean,
Is it for her job? Like
she just wants. It's free, and she wants to go, and she hasn't been working
crazy
since
about
April.
That? Do you remember back in the beginning?
You couldn't get a test.
Back in ordinary time, but you couldn't get a test. But I've been watching my shows, my reality shows. Some of them are, they're filmed during COVID.
Yeah.
They were getting tested like constantly.
Right.
Is that why we didn't have any tests? Like
the one on Grand Street is pretty. If you get on the list for them, you can get a test within a day or 2, and you just go right in there. It takes, it literally takes 3 seconds to stick the swabs up your nose.
Those are diagnostic, though, correct?
What's that?
Those are the diagnostic tests, which means they get.
No, you can get a rapid one there.
You can get a rapid
there. That's where
also?
Fred Costello went, who's our Wednesday host. He's the only one I know besides Eddie Burns that just died. Let him rest in peace.
Oh, I didn't.
Those are the only 2. He was very
COVID.
sick before he got COVID. Then the way I hear it, then he got it, and then he passed away. But he was a little ill before he got it. But Fred Costello is the only one I know that actually had it. And he woke up one morning and was actually on his way to come to work. He had a splitting headache, and he had the cough.
Headache.
And his fever, he said his pillow was like dripping wet, like someone just sprayed it with a garden hose.
Wow.
So he went through like 4 or 5 days, and then Chief Sinagra got it because him and Fred were at a meeting that day. So Joe didn't have any of the symptoms, but his wife and 2 kids got it because his kids live, like they share a yard or whatever. They were all fine. They just, they went and got tested. They found out they had it. But, they were okay in a couple of days. Fred went through, he said he used to get migraines when he was younger. He said the headaches were worse than that.
Wow.
But he's the only person that I really know that had it. Joe says that he came up positive, but he's like, I never felt anything. They just said that I had it, so.
You see New Paltz, those swab tests they're doing to the kids, that have you guys noticed that or seen that on?
Kids?
Yeah, for the college students.
Oh yes, Malatris was out here.
Huh?
Malatris was visiting the colleges to see what their testing is like, but New Paltz had 12 positives.
No, I'm saying what they're doing is that they're handing every day.
Yeah.
When you go in, they do their mouth.
Yeah,
they
the
swab
swab.
their mouth. Yeah.
Oh, you don't even have to get it in your nose?
No.
Really?
Yeah, and it's being made at college, I think. It's
not very comfortable getting that thing stuck up your
no,
nose.
I understand that.
It feels like it's going into your brain. I mean, it's over. In 2 seconds, but it's just. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
a long.
I'd like to
It's a
avoid
long
that.
stick.
Yeah, my brain hurts now.
Yeah, I'd like to avoid that at all costs. But I actually lost a family member to COVID.
Did you?
Yeah, an older cousin of mine down in Florida. Yeah, 68, I believe he was.
Oy.
Yeah, but it's like I said, if you don't know someone who's at least contracted it, and then God forbid passed from it, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll be through it soon, though.
Jimmy Quigley had a situation going on.
Yeah, Big Jim.
Big Jim.
Yeah.
He's better now.
Good. Yeah, and if you do contract it, let's hope that, we get through it. Oh, that's it.
It's what's the word they use when a lot of people get it and then you have the vaccine?
I have a teacher friend that got it. She got her shot a couple weeks ago at the Kingston High School. And they give you a card that says you've been vaccinated.
Absolutely.
For COVID-19. So I want one of them cards. So if I got to get 8 shots in my freaking legs or wherever, I'm getting it.
That's rabies.
Because I want to get back to living normal again. I mean.
Well, it's really funny. That's the upside. You get a card that you had your first vaccine. It gives you an appointment. When you have
3
to go
weeks
back
later,
to the second.
Mario Catalano, he was a doctor. He's a
Right.
doctor. He got his first shot. He went into the thing. He got it. That you have to sit around for an hour after you get the shot just to make sure your arm doesn't swell up or your head turns into a pumpkin or something. That won't happen. I'm just kidding. But you have to sit around and make sure there's no side effects.
Yeah.
A friend of mine in Florida got it. She's also a teacher. Her arm swelled up for about an hour, but then it went back down. So.
Good. But anyway, you get your shot. But that's going to free a lot of people up and give people a good feeling about being able to travel.
I know.
And we're going to get to a point where you're going to have the shot to travel.
I think we'll be back to normal, starting to get back to normal by June. I think once everybody does get a shot, or the people that are going to get one, it's going to be like the Roaring '20s again. People are going to be out.
You think? Huh?
People want to go on vacation. They want to give.
I lived with one of those.
Yeah,
it's true.
I want to go do stuff too, but
it's tough.
You gotta wait.
Yeah, you have to wait. You have to have a little patience.
At least we're in the home stretch now.
Right. That's exactly right.
If last year at this time, well, we didn't know last year at this time, but over the summer when it started, remember it got bad, and then around June it started to not be so bad, and then when it got colder again, it was bad. You can open up that window, Heidi. It might work. So when it got bad again, we didn't even know that we were going to have a vaccine.
Right.
And then when we found out, Trump was like, oh, we're going to have one, by the end of the year, and people started getting vaccinated. Now, because there were a lot of people traveling when in all the airports I was at. Albany, there wasn't too many people, but there was a ton of people in Baltimore. Chicago airport was packed. I couldn't even get a seat at the bar while I was waiting for my next flight to come to Albany. I mean, it was, I know Chicago's a big airport, but
O'Hare.
But Fort Lauderdale too. I mean, there was 300 people on the plane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll get back to where we need to be. We have about 50 seconds. But it was a good show today, Heidi. Good seeing you.
Thank you for our
again.
surprise guest.
You're welcome.
Senator.
Yeah.
Tucci. That was very, very nice of him to come on.
Yeah, it's we have to hear from our elected officials.
That's always good.
And any elected officials out there who is listening, please feel free to give Heidi or me a call.
Come in every other Friday.
And we come every other Friday.
As an elected official.
Huh?
I'm an elected official.
Well, but you're a host. You're not a guest.
Well, we'll be back in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
And we wish you happy, healthy, safe.
Be safe.
Everyone have a good weekend.
Yes. Take care.
Thank you for sharing the morning with us and participating in Kingston Community Radio, KCR.